You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming. It's something about on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at us another Let's Play episode of Far Beyond the World. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go! What's with the tiaras, anyway? He asked the flamboyant male, his brow creased with doubt. At first, I thought it was for some occasion that I wasn't aware of, but you two have been wearing those for a whole week now. Lady Wrist, never one to pass up an opportunity for intrigue, leans forward, her eyes glowing with curiosity. I was about to pose the same question, but I thought it rude to ask. Lord Mayor, however, looks as though he was waiting for this very moment. Shrugs theatrically. Sunda Khan's initiative, restoring the traditional insignia of high-ranking officials. I had these pulled out from the treasury. I hope you don't mind. Sunda Khan? Huh! His Excellency snorts, his voice heavy with contempt. These are perfumed ponts. I've never seen a more vain tiger walk this earth. He might as well have been born a lion. I wouldn't take cues from him if I were you. The Lord Mayor's humor abates for a moment, and his mouth opens as if to defend his choices. But then he seems to have changed his mind, and a cheeky smile reappears on his muzzle. Sends a good signal, does it not? He retorts, eliciting an amused chuckle from our host. What it signals is your growing detachment from reality, dear friend. It's as though we're moving back in time. He laughs, at which Lady Wrist can't help but join in, her voice dripping with faux concern. Don't those heavy pieces trouble your necks, darlings? Must be murder wearing that much gold. But the mayor waves her comment away as though it were an errant fly. Oh, pish, it's not that heavy. It only looks so. These are very thin sheets, mind you. Lady Wrist raises her eyebrows, the corners of her mouth curling upward ever so slightly. Well, as long as they're thin, I guess that makes it all right. She responds, her voice laced with enough sarcasm to cut glass. How about we redirect our attention to the meal at Pa? So far I've been chewing only on these grapes. Lord Mayor's wife shakes her goblet, sloshing the deep scald within to everyone's amusement. Their joint laughter fills the air, yet an odd weight settles over me, one I can't easily shake off. Beneath the veneer of banter and cosmetic trends, I sense subtle tests of power and shifting allegiances. It's as if every word and action were calculated moves in a high-stakes game I'm only beginning to understand. A game where diadems and clothing weren't mere adornments, but statements, ones that could win favor or just as easily alienate your allies. A Game of Thrones, you might say. Now, my only hope is that I'm dressed for the occasion. Trying to banish my worries, I decide to follow the bubbly female's advice and focus on the beautifully set table. The food is piled high in front of us and tempts with both smell and presentation. Everyone seems to be helping themselves to whatever, and we exchange confused looks with Rannoch. I'm completely lost at what to start with, but that's when Kane leans in, almost as if reading our mind. I would start with tollmaids. They're quite tasty. And they would be... over here. He points to a plate stacked with small green parcels. Those are savory ones. Beef, buckwheat, and onions wrapped in vine leaf. The tiger then nods towards a plate of similar green parcels covered in white sauce. Over there you have the sweet ones. Usually it's goat's cheese with honey and chopped nuts, drizzled with sweet yogurt. Oh god, that sounds fucking good. Oh my. Wolf don't eat leaf. Oh, come off it. It's not like I haven't seen you eat your greens. I chuckle, elbowing him teasingly and placing a savory roll on each of our plates. Not a sweet tooth, I see. On the contrary, I'm just used to eating dessert after dinner. And quite right. The mage nods his head merrily in agreement and feigns a toast. Noticing our glasses are empty, he quickly grabs a bottle and fills them up. We bob our cups merrily and take a sip, while I'm eyeing out the dish in front of me. Rannoch is exaggeratedly reluctant, toying with the plate and sniffing as if to make sure it's not poison. I, on the other hand, display a much greater trust in our host and follow the spirit of adventure, taking half of the parcel in one bite. The filling crumbles apart in my mouth, like a well-cooked pie stuffing, while the leaf provides both tang and texture. It's an experience for sure, but I don't think I would go for seconds just yet. It feels dry, almost as if missing sauce. That's when I noticed Kane wash it down with wine. Having one more bite left, I try this approach, and to my surprise, it works. I forgot to ask. What drinks do you prefer, my friends? Ale. Rannoch responds almost immediately, drawing a frown from the magistrate's muzzle. I'm not sure what he's complaining about. The wine is lovely. I'm afraid we don't have it in the palace. But I know wolves are fond of their moonshine. We do have some high-quality vodka that would be to your taste. Yes, I think that would be fine. I nod, looking to the wolf with a weak smile. Spirits are something both of us are used to by now. The magistrate waves a paw towards the remaining 3 servants, who stand to attention in the corners of the room. They quickly rush towards the cupboards to pick up various bottles and diligently begin to fill up small crystal shot glasses. I smile at the familiarity of the vessel. I think I've done at least a few shots in my previous life, although with whom and the occasion for it eludes me. One thing's for sure, I've never been in company such as this. Once everyone has their glass in paw, the magistrate grabs his and stands up, initiating a toast. Following other guests, we take hold of ours and stand up as well. Very well then, to good health, the magistrate proclaims, raising his glass, and we all oblige. To good health! I blink in surprise at how smoothly the vodka washes down my throat. It's almost like spicy water, very little bitterness or burning, just a bit of bite. I look to Rannoch with a smile, who, equally amazed, inspects the glass. Oh, that is marvelous, Your Excellency. Utterly delightful. Second yell, water time. Alright, guys and gals, and we are back. Let's go ahead and jump back into it, shall we? Okay. Lady Wrist voices our thoughts. Is it local? Oh, no. Our locals couldn't distill a good spirit to save their lives. Brewmasters and ale makers, the whole lot of them. The magistrate draws a bout of laughter from the gathered. I'm importing this directly from Amaron. The magistrate there is an old friend of mine, and he never fails to lift my spirits each season. Literally? I shall look into importing it myself, then. My husband would very much enjoy it. Enjoyment often leads to indulgence. What is a life without a little indulgence, dear lord? But alas, you bankers are used to saving money, not spending it. The female bops her glass in the direction of the otherwise stoic and dignified male, when Portia returns from the gardens with a surprisingly large group of humans. Oh, wow. That is a hardy-looking dude. First enters a bulky man in his 40s, with long, dark, blonde hair and a well-groomed beard. He's handsome in a harsh, brutal sort of way, many scars dotting his perfectly sculpted body. He's attractive, dangerously so, and I decide not to rest my gaze on him much longer. Instead, I focus on a youth entering behind him. It's a slender-looking blonde boy, about my age, I think, perhaps in his late teens. His blue eyes immediately lock on me, and I try not to appear too intrusive. Finally, last to enter is an older gentleman in an elaborate leather coat and a fancy cap. He's not exactly in the winter of his life, but if I were to guess, I'd say he's halfway through his 60s at the very least. There they are. Welcome, welcome once again. Please, be seated. The magistrate stands up and bids them to join us. The gardens are absolutely wonderful, Your Excellency. They match many a finer home in Tigeron with their beauty. The older man speaks in a polite tone, yet somehow I can catch that he struggles with the language. Thank you, Master Daglin. It means a lot coming from you. Daglin here, for those unfamiliar with his name, is a historian. The magistrate announces to the rest of us. Currently under royal commission to the Sorcerer King himself. He's traveling with his fellow kin back to the capital. Weren't you the one present in the Lion's Landing when the truce was signed? Indeed, your ladyship. Daglin nods, taking a seat opposite Rannoch. So, 6 months ago in Euron, then on the other side of Avalon, and now back again? You run quite a tight schedule, my good sir. How was the crossing? I've heard it's half decent nowadays. That depends on the captain and his ship. I've traveled on a Felinian frigate. A fine vessel she was, still took us 3 weeks more than expected to cross. Why was that? The mage looks at the human with genuine curiosity, dunking his lips in wine. We've encountered a still spot, not a gust of wind to be had for weeks. Dear me, so you ended up stranded? Worse so, the currents are pushing us back towards Euron, but we were well provisioned and it gave me time to work in my cabin. I see, you're an industrious man. No other way to be. Both exchange cordial looks and bop their glass in mutual agreement. Doesn't life on the move become bothersome after a while? Not at all. Most kin are born and buried in their neck of the woods, never to see even a glimpse of the world beyond. I find myself extremely privileged to travel as much as I do. I can see by the corner of my eye that Rannoch's attention fixates on the elder, and a smile appears on his muzzle. After all, travel is his dream. Well said. Well said. The handsome man agrees, much to my wolf's approval. Nothing like exploring the world a little before we fade into nothingness. Everyone, this is Jarl Yorick of Nidros. The magistrate addresses us once again, introducing his other guest. His voice is brimming with joy, and the human bows gracefully. He's the right hand to the High King Hilden of the Broken Isles. A hero of the battlefront and a personal friend to the Sorcerer King. Rarely such a distinguished guest graced my table. Please, please, with less pomp, I beg you. Yorick holds up his hands in clear embarrassment. I'm just a soldier, that is all. My son wrote to me of your exploits with great admiration, and I'd say you're selling yourself short, friend. A warrior does what a warrior must. The rest is irrelevant. Again, Rannoch gives a silent nod of approval, and I can't help but admire the new arrival. Still, none of them look remotely familiar when any pipe dream of them having an inkling into my past vanishes in a proverbial and very apt puff of smoke. Not that I expected otherwise. On a side note, I don't know why, but my mind feels oddly alert to everything happening around the table. It's as if I wouldn't be able to switch off from the conversation even if I'd try. Odd. Everything seems so sharp and clear. How long have you been a Jarl? Lady Rist poses an idle question, but all I can do is stare at the kid seated in front of me. But a year, dear lady. And how do you find this new position? Challenging, but also rewarding. There's undeniable satisfaction in seeing the fruits of one's labor, especially if they're enjoyed by the people one serves. Spoken like a true leader. I try to divert my eyes from the youth in front of me. For some reason, his bashful glances fluster me. The tiger noble, who so far sat comfortably in his chair, suddenly stands up. Anyway, now that we're all together, I want to extend sincere apologies to you, Your Excellency, on behalf of Tiberius. My brother has departed to the capital on an urgent business and therefore cannot be present. Oh, that's quite all right, dear friend. The magistrate waves his paw dismissively. I understand your enterprise is most demanding. Since he has gone on such short notice, I assume there's trouble in the Imperial Treasury. Should we expect new taxes? I'm afraid I wouldn't know, but if the Sorcerer King is in need of coin, I'm sure Tiberius can alleviate his troubles without reaching into our pockets. I'd be willing. Last thing I need is more petitioners at my doorstep. Quite. Thank you, Caius. It's good to have your reassurance. In fact, on this note, I would have a request to make of you. Lord Rannoch entrusted quite a sum of gold with me, and I would need it liquefied. That shan't be a problem. I was given full control in Tiberius's absence. I can get funds ready first thing tomorrow. Perfect. The magistrate nods, looking to us with a determined gaze. You can trust Lord Gracchi. He's one of the most talented financiers in this realm. Not only he'll provide you with a hard cash to spend, but he'll make sure your people's assets work for you, instead of being locked in a vault. You mean he'll invest it? I asked, drawing a surprised glare from the financier. Isn't that a bit risky? Risky? Gracchi never lost a coin if they could help it. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!